Hey everyone, Bluebird here. Ever since I made my fan-made Warriors trailer public after a certain incident, I went about uploading some of my other projects to YouTube as an extra precaution to keep them safe. Originally, I wasn't planning on making any other videos after that, but then I decided that I really wanted to do some Warriors analysis. I may not be a big YouTuber by any means, but there's still stuff in the books that I would like to talk about. Also, just as a small side note, I'm not as well spoken as I'd like to be, so just bear with me. With all that aside, let's talk about Appledusk. So, last year in the Warriors fandom, there was a controversy surrounding Frecklewish and her placement in the Dark Forest. But I want to talk about another character in Mapleshade's vengeance, and that character is Appledusk. Appledusk is a River Clan Tom who Mapleshade is mates with at the beginning of the book, and she's expecting his kids. Now, before the events of this book, Appledusk accidentally has killed Birchface, the son of the ThunderClan leader. Later in the book, after Mapleshade is kicked out of ThunderClan and after her kids drown, it is revealed that Appledusk is also mates with Reedshine. It is this revelation, along with Mapleshade not being allowed a place in RiverClan, that causes Mapleshade to snap and go on her murdering spree. But that's really the gist of it. I'm not really here to analyze the whole book. More so, I'm here to ask one question. Did Appledusk deserve to die? Because Appledusk is the final victim that Mapleshade targets as revenge for her kids dying. I see quite a few arguments in this fandom that Appledusk deserved his fate. And I'm here to say that I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Ignoring Appledusk's wrongdoings for now, the premise of Mapleshade's vengeance is that she's taking vengeance on the cats who she believes were responsible for her kids' deaths. While she irrationally goes after Ravenwing and Frecklewish as her first two kills, at the very least, her reasoning had some amount of substance to it, as ridiculous as it was. But Appledusk had absolutely no involvement in the kids' deaths. In fact, if it wasn't for him, Mapleshade would have died along with her kids. By the time that Mapleshade was pulled out of the river by Appledusk, it was already too late. The kids were gone. And sadly, they were dead by the time the RiverClan patrol found them. Logically, there was nothing that Appledusk could have done in that moment to save them because they were already gone. Appledusk was not responsible for the death of the kids. And yet, he was killed. Even so, a lot of people will argue that he deserved to die because he was a shitty person and cheated on Reedshine with Mapleshade. But I disagree with this again. As shitty as that action was, murder is not a reasonable consequence. And that's not to say that Appledusk doesn't deserve any consequences for his actions. In fact, I believe that he had no right to stay with Reedshine after what he did. I believe that Reedshine should have broken up with him right then and there, as he had lost the right to be her partner. In fact, I recently created an alternate universe where that happens. Reedshine breaks up with Appledusk as she feels that she can no longer trust him. I believe that, in combination with the scrutiny he faces from his clan, is a perfect consequence for such actions. But instead, he's killed, and the fandom rejoices in his death. I like to refer to this as the Ashfur effect, because the same thing happened with Squirrelflight after the Power of Three came out. People were justifying what Ashfur did to Squirrelflight because she broke his heart. And yes, while Squirrelflight didn't cheat on Ashfur, like some people claim, the point is that a broken heart is not a justification for murder. A broken heart can be mended. A life is irreplaceable. And the reality is, Mapleshade really only has herself to blame. Regardless of the fact that she was kicked out by ThunderClan, it was her decision to make her kids swim in the river that led to their deaths. Had she made any other decision besides that, her kids would still be alive. And despite all the factors surrounding this, Mapleshade, the mother, is the one responsible for her kids. She was the one that made the decision to make her kids go in the river, even when one of her kids says that he doesn't want to. Her irresponsible choice, regardless of the pain that she was going through at the time, was what led to her kid's demise. Now, does this mean that you're not allowed to like Mapleshade? No. Does this mean that you're not allowed to hate Appledusk? No. You are still fully within your rights to like or hate whatever characters you want to. Despite everything that I just said here, I still very much do not like Appledusk. But even if I and the fandom find him to be a morally bad person, I still do not think that he deserved to die. And I'm glad the fandom is at least now waking up about Mapleshade's vengeance, and seeing Mapleshade as the villain of her story as opposed to a hero. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Warriors content from me in the future, feel free to subscribe. I welcome you. Anyways, that's about all for this video. I'll see you guys later.